On Arsenal, what do you make of them? Do you think they're going to challenge this year? Because a lot of their fans don't seem confident at all after their start of the season. How have you viewed it? Someone who's always been quite balanced, really, on Arsenal.
Well, I tipped Liverpool, didn't I? And everyone went mad and said, how can you talk about Liverpool? It's Arsenal, this, Arsenal, that. But I still stand by it. I think Liverpool will be the closest. I think they'll be more consistent. I think Arsenal have done okay. Not done bad. Can't moan. The Fulham game was shit, but it is what it is. You get them in the season. But yeah, they're going to be there or thereabouts, but I don't think they win it. I think we win it. So I can't see past us. But I think Liverpool will get second.
But what have you made of Kai Havertz so far? 4 games in, the fans are fuming he's starting. Do you think they're being a little bit unfair? They should have a bit more patience in him to get it right, or what are you saying?
I just think he's gone to the. If he doesn't want pressure and he doesn't want madness, he's gone to the wrong club, because he's jumped out the frying pan at Chelsea straight into the fire. Nobody understood the signing. He's being shoehorned in the team, and other players are getting put in different positions to get him in the team. That hasn't worked. So they've reverted back to the Ben White at right back thing and all that. The chance he missed at weekend doesn't help his cause, because it was clear cut. He only had to smash it in the net from 3 yards. Kai Havertz, I don't know where he is. I don't know what position he's best at. I don't know what he does. You know what I mean? I don't know. And I think the Arsenal fans, if they've got a new scapegoat, let's just say that. If it doesn't go to plan, it'll be him. He'll get the blame. If they drop points and he's in the team, they'll blame him. You're not getting any time at Arsenal as a fan. I asked him, end of the season, give people time. There's no point getting on players' backs. There's no point. You know what I mean? These players see it. These players watch things, social media. There's no point getting on one of your own players' backs. It doesn't do anything. You know what I mean? But I've already seen him ripping him apart, man. So I feel for him.
Yeah, look, I don't think he's been very good. I actually think Arteta has got to take him out of the first team. I think Fabio Vieira deserves a start. I think he's been phenomenal coming off the bench.
If he takes him out, though, yeah, people are like, why have you signed him? Why have you signed him? You don't trust him. You took him out of the limelight. If he plays him and he's got to then put Partey at right back or something like that, and they don't get the points, they're going to say, why have you bought him? You're trying to put Havertz in the team. He's created a situation, in my opinion, that he didn't need to create. He did not need to buy Havertz. If he could have spent 60 million, 70 million and brought in a striker in case Gabriel got injured, then that would have been money well spent. I think Arsenal are covered. If Havertz is injured now for 6 months, nobody misses him at Arsenal. Nobody. If Gabriel Jesus gets injured for 6 months, it's a problem. And that's where he's dropped the ball for me.
Yeah, I hear you on that. But this is where I think the manager's got to grow a pair and look beyond what people are saying.
Yeah.
Keep him out the first team and not react to the... Because I think what he's doing now, Arteta, is going, right, I need to make this work. I'm going to play him until he puts in a good performance.
He needs to explain his decision of signing him. If he comes out and says, listen, I've signed Havertz because in certain games last season, this was happening. I had nobody to put in there and I wanted somebody out here. Then you go, okay, we understand why you signed him.
Yeah.
He's not explained it. He's just sat there and everyone's baffled by it. Everyone's looking, going, well, where's he fitting in here? Because looking at Arsenal's team last season, everything looked all right. Ben Wright at right back, Partey in the midfield with Odegaard. You had Declan Rice, Odegaard, Partey in there. Pretty strong midfield. You look at the back four, Zinchenko, Gabriel, Saliba, Ben White, no problem. Ramsdale in net. And then you've got Saka, Martinelli, Jesus. That team could win you the league. You bring Kai Havertz in, who's not done anything at Chelsea, and then all of a sudden you move Partey to right back, and then you've got Havertz floating around the middle as a 10, and then when Jesus is injured, you're playing him up front. It just was weird. And I get why the Arsenal fans are mad, but I don't understand the signing of Havertz. I think the money should have been spent on a striker.
No, mate, I understand where you're coming from, and I think Arteta's created a little bit of a golem, but he needs to manage it. So Pep and Klopp, most successful managers of the last 10 years, I would say, in the Premier League. And they've both done this with certain. Some signings go straight in, hit the ground running, and look amazing. Others have been bled in slowly, and you've got to get the balance right. And I said in the summer about Havertz and Mount, both shouldn't have started games for Man United and Arsenal respectively, because I still think there's an element of a lack of confidence after a horrendous year or so at Chelsea. Big money moves, huge pressure on them. You've got to gauge it right. And I think so far, the first 2 games with Mount at United, and definitely in the first 4 games for Arsenal, although they've walked away with 10 points, so they're not in a bad position, that's been wrong. And I think that what you need to do is take him out of that firing line. And there's an easy thing to say. Look, the only reason he's not starting is because Fabio Vieira has been amazing, but he's going to get his opportunities. We've got plans with him, and bleed him in slowly. I think the starting of Kai Havertz has been a little bit of an issue because he hasn't dropped in those performances as of yet. And he's got to be careful there. Like, this is where the managers have to not listen to social media, not listen to pundits, and put faith in what they know to be true. Because if they start making decisions based on what outside influences are saying, they're going to make mistakes. Your manager don't do it. Fergie never did it. And I'm not saying that Arteta's as good as them, but you have to follow their lead. That's one of the things me and Lee always argue about. He said,
I think he's
you can't compare the managers, but I'd much rather see my manager follow the behaviors of winners than follow the behaviors of losers. That's my general take.
I think he's looking at sometimes what Pep does. He'll buy a player who can play in 3 or 4 positions. So when these people say, oh, Manchester City have got a massive squad, it's a myth. We haven't. You look on the bench, it's full of young kids. But what we have got is 5 or 6 players that can play in 3 or 4 positions. So Bernardo Silva, for example, he's played at left back, centre mid, number 10. He's played out wide on the right. He's played out wide on the left. Phil Foden can play on the left, can play on the right, can play in the 10. John Stones, right back, centre back, DM. So these are the players that, you know, they fit in your system, shall we say. They've always got a place in your system. Yeah, Bernardo Silva might play better in the middle, but he also plays really, really well out wide. With Havertz, I don't think he particularly plays well anywhere. I think he just slots in, but he's not prolific in front of goal. He had a fresh air shot the other day, should have buried it. You put him in midfield, he looks a little bit lazy to me. You know, you play him out wide, he doesn't do enough. And it's like, wrong type of player. But time will tell. If he proves everybody wrong, then it is what it is. But I just think getting on his case is not the way forward.
Yeah, I understand that. I think that would make him worse. I really do. I agree with that element. We played Partey at right back because the manager wanting to invert someone. That was Timber. Now he's injured, and Partey was the right back, not because of Havertz. Same was Pep playing Silva at left back last season for some games. That's what Tony says here.
Like I say, you watch Arsenal more than me. I don't, but it just looks like they were trying to shoehorn him in the team, and people were getting moved around to accommodate him.
Yeah, I think it could have. I definitely think it looked that way. I really wanted to see what happened in the United game and who would play where, but then Partey gets injured, so you don't actually get answers because Gabriel came back in because everybody got shifted along. I still think he'd have reverted back. I don't think Havertz would have started if Partey didn't get injured, but we'll never know. I'm not liking Havertz at the moment, but I remember us not liking Xhaka, Ben White, Odegaard, Eddie, and Fabio Vieira. Now we want them playing in the starting 11. I need to be patient, I guess. Yeah, I mean, the only counter argument to this I ever see, Steve, is but we saw him for 3 years at Chelsea, so we know he's not good enough, and that is a fair point. I think it's a fair challenge.
Well, you wouldn't sign him on the Chelsea form. Nobody would.
No. Nobody
in the Premier League is looking at his Chelsea Premier League form and saying, let's go and get him. He's a great Premier League player.
He's been signed on what he did before and the idea that Arteta believes he can get him back to that level. Exactly. And this is the thing I would say. I understand Lee Gunner criticising it because Lee Gunner doesn't trust the manager. I understand people that don't trust Arteta not being patient with it, because why would you be patient with a decision that you, one, disagree with from a manager you don't think is good enough? Makes sense. But the people that confuse me are the ones that say, in Arteta, I trust. He's this, he's that, he's the other. I love this guy. He's amazing. And I understand you can still challenge him, but it's the lack of patience you've got in a manager that you say is amazing. That is what doesn't make sense. Like for me, I trust my manager to a large degree. So when it comes to the Sancho situation, I'm putting some faith in him. Even when it comes to Mount, I'm not happy with the deal, but I'm saying, right, let me just wait for 10 games, 15 games before I really give an opinion. That's because I trust my manager. So people always go at the Lees and the Brandons that come on the terrace and say, well, they're not being patient, but they don't need to be patient. They don't trust the manager. It's anyone who thinks that thinks Arteta is the man and he's amazing, his eye for talent is impeccable. You're the ones you should be patient, nobody else, in my view, because you trust the manager. So if you trust him, then yeah, give him time. I think Steve looks like Eric Ten Hag from Wish.
Fucking hell, man. Couldn't you? I get Phil Mitchell all the time. I don't mind that, but compare me to Eric Ten Hag, man.
Yes, funny. Someone actually said to me the other day that Ten Hag's just at Man United for the money, and someone said it on stream. Might have been Lee said it on stream, and then someone sent me a link. Do you know that how rich Ten Hag's family are? I didn't realize this. Like, they've got so much money. When a certain person passes in his family, he gets a percentage of that in inheritance. He gets over 150 million in inheritance. That's how, like, he ain't nowhere for money. The guy's richer than most footballers. It's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. Ten Hag is from Wish. Yeah, we won a trophy last year, didn't he, you mug? Terry, you are talking about a small minority of Arsenal supporters screaming the loudest. Maybe. No, I'm not. No, I don't think I am. Sorry, Sadiq. I think I'm talking about people that are saying that loads of people that I see say they've got faith in the manager, they trust him, he's brilliant, he's the guy for the job, who have got no patience with certain signings, and that doesn't quite compute to me. Doesn't say you have to agree with it, but you can have patience if you trust somebody. You know, there are decisions that I trust KJ at work. You might go, I'm going to try this. I think it will work. I might not trust it. I might go, I don't think so, but I trust you. So I'm going to give you some time to make it work. I put faith in that person. So that's all I'm saying, my friend. You know, what I'm also stating is I don't think that you should be calling out Lee Gunner for it. But yeah, there we go. Arsenal fans don't need to get on Havertz's back, as our rivals did that before we did, and they pretend it's Arsenal fans. Maybe. Terry Agenda Merchant. I don't know what that means. That's a weird comment. But yeah, you still see yourselves as favourites. It's been a very good... am I right in saying this is the first time ever under Pep you've won your first 4 games of the season?
I think it might be, yeah. I think it might be. We don't usually start too well. We always drop a draw in there or maybe the odd loss. We've had a good run. Burnley, Sheffield United, Fulham in the first 3. It's not a bad way to start, to be fair. So we're doing all right. West Ham coming up is going to be tough. Olympic Stadium. They've started the season well. Made a couple of good signings. International breaks come at the right time. Probably, give them a little break and that. But we just got to keep on going. We've got our own signings we need to bed in. Guardiola's had a few games, but he didn't play last one. Nunes from Wolves. Don't know how he's going to fit in. And don't forget, you can't just jump in from Wolves and think you're going to fit in this Pep Guardiola system, because it ain't the case. Everything's going to be different for him. So we're going to take them a few weeks. Doku had a bit of a good debut. He's very explosive, somewhat different. Yeah, but listen, we're the favourites. We just won the treble. We're the favourites for a reason. So it's on us. We're at the top. Everyone's trying to knock us down. So let's bring it on, man.
Yeah, I mean, as you say, you had Newcastle at home, but outside of that, it's been quite an easy. And I'm just looking at your Premier League fixtures. I mean, your group in the Champions League is
love that.
So easy. Oh, mate, you can rotate and yeah, it's great. But in the Premier League, West Ham away, yeah, difficult, but you're still favourites. Then you're home to Forest, away to Wolves. You don't get your first massive test until you go away to Arsenal on the 8th of October. So it's still like. But then that's even if you do lose, you could have won your first sort of 6, 7, 8 games by then. So it'd be 7 games by then. It's still a brilliant start. And then after that, you go home. Then it's a tough little. Actually, then wow. Actually, I just looked at your prem after then. Wow, I didn't even see that. So yeah, so you easy start, and then away to West Ham, home to Forest, away to Wolves, then away to Arsenal, home to Brighton, away to United, home to Bournemouth, away to Chelsea, at home to Liverpool, at home to Tottenham.
Exactly.
Wow, yeah. That's a mad. I mean, you come through that run with majority of wins. The league, I feel like the league title's going to be over by Christmas.
It's amazing how people go, "Oh, it's rigged, so you get." It's like, listen, mate, you've got to play everyone twice. Don't matter when you play them, you got to play them twice. So that I was going to say, there's a spell there where you've got to be on it, and yeah, I like them spells though. they're the ones that get you going, like that you go in every game and it means something. You've got to win.
When my team was good, a long time ago now, I used to love difficult starts to the season because my view was always, look, in the first, say, 10 games, if you were playing, I always wanted to go away from home at the beginning of the season to the big teams as well. It might look tough, but my view was always, look, if you come through that tough period, though, with maximum points or close to maximum, then you've got to run a very winnable games. And that's one of the reasons why we won so many league titles, because you go through those, if you go through those games, say you beat Arsenal away, beat Brighton, beat Chelsea, beat Liverpool, draw with Spurs, draw with United. If you come out of those, I'm not going to say lose to us because I don't want to put it out there, but like if you guys come through that with that amount of points, that's a fantastic run for that period. That's crazy.
Liverpool away, we're getting beat. Tottenham away, we're getting beat. So we always do, but we know that. We know that, and if we get the same referee at Old Trafford as last year, we'll get beat.
Well, you go away to Liverpool in March and you go away to Tottenham at the end of April. So
we'll win the league by then.
Well, yeah, that's what you got to hope for, isn't you? That you're going away to a team you never win at. But who knows? You might beat Spurs now. They don't play the same brand of football. Now they're open and expansive.
You
probably beat them now because the football is going to change. So, yeah, it's an interesting one.